Welcome back. Now, in this lecture, we'll discuss about the lubricating system of an engine. Now, here there are two objectives. One is the types of lubricating system, different types of lubricating system, and second is to understand the lubricants and additives. Now, what are the different types of lubrication system? Because engine is a working element wherein too many parts are moving inside the engine, so lubrication is necessary because friction are bound to there. Now what are the objectives or the importance of any lubrication in automobile? Engine oil serves a vital purpose. It lubricates, cleans and cools the many moving parts in an engine, because there are so many parts, and for every minute these parts are moving for thousands of times. So we need to lubricate these parts, otherwise the life of the part will be reduced. They will not be able to work for a longer period. So lubrication is very essential as far as the IC engine is concerned. Also, it reduces the wear on engine components and ensures everything works efficiently at controlled temperature, because the main purpose of lubrication is to lubricate, but at the same time it also carries the temperature, whatever the heat generated during the combustion, it also carried that heat away from the component, so it cools. It again cleans. Keeping fresh oil moving through the lubrication system reduces the need for repairs and make your engine last longer. It increases the life of the engine. So these are the main importance of lubrication system in automobile. Now how the oil travels? How the oil travels while lubricating the engine? Oil travels between the following parts, like that oil pan, as we have discussed in the last period, that oil pan is a place where oil is kept. It acts as a sump for the oil, lubricating oil. All the oil, after lubrication, the oil comes to the oil pan, and it is acts as a sump. Then from that sump, with the help of oil pump, oil is pressurized throughout the engine. Means first component is oil pan where the oil is kept, then oil pump pressurize the oil, then oil carrying tubes, then through these tubes the oil is circulated throughout the engine. Then sometimes a pressure relief valve is required in some engines to regulate the oil pressure for a consistent flow as load and engine speed changes, because you cannot supply a constant oil if the engine speed is low, the lubrication required will be low. So then oil filter, because every time when the oil circulates through the engine, it carries some dust, wear particles or debris from the component, and they all are collected in the oil pan. Then when again oil is lifted by pump, it is necessary to filter this oil. So oil filters are necessary to remove the dirts, debris, metal particles and other contaminants. Then spurts, holes and galleries. Spurts, holes and galleries, these are the drill channels through which the oil is circulated throughout the engine. Every time this oil goes from these holes or galleries, and it returns to the oil pan. So this is the flow of the oil for the lubrication from oil pan to component. Now we must have a question in your mind, that what are the different types of lubrication system used in the automobile. So different systems used in the automobile are of 6 types. First is the petrol or mist lubrication. It is also called as mist lubrication system. Second is splash lubrication system. Third is pressure lubrication system, or sometimes it is also called as a full pressure lubrication system. Then many times this pressure, instead of pressure lubrication system, semi pressure lubrication system is used. Then wet sump lubrication system. This is wet sump lubrication system. And last one is the dry sump lubrication system. So these are the 6 type of lubrication system. We will discuss these one by one. Now what is petrol or mist lubrication system? Now this type of system is out of this curriculum, because this type of system will not be used right now, because this system is used in the two-stroke petrol engines. This in this system, what is the procedure? The procedure is that apart with the petrol, some quantity of oil is mixed. That in two-stroke engines you might have observed that some 20 ml oil is mixed with 1 liter of petrol. The lubricating oil is mixed into the petrol itself while filling the petrol tank of the vehicle in specified ratio. That ratio might be 20 ml, might be 25 ml, but it has to be mixed. So there is no such separate oil tank or oil pan is there which can supply a lubricating oil to the moving components of the engine. So whatever the petrol is taken in from the carburetor itself, it is having a oil percentage ratio, so that during the movement that oil will lubricate and it also burns in it. That's why two-stroke engine has a more pollution capacity than the four-stroke engine. Therefore government has banned on the two-stroke engine. Two-stroke engines are now they are not manufactured as a part of the because of the air pollution content. It is usually about 1 part of oil to 10 part of gasoline by volume. 1 part of oil and 10 part of gasoline. Gasoline means petrol. When the fuel goes into the crank chamber during the engine operation, the oil particles go deep into the bearing surfaces and lubricate them. So along with this, because in this figure you can observe that the whatever the charge coming from the carburetor will be circulated in the, as we know, the two-stroke engine, it is circulated in the crankcase also. So here the along with the charge, the oil particles also enters and they lubricate these all the joints of the engine. The piston ring, cylinder walls, piston pins are lubricated in the same way. So along with this charge, along with the charge, the all the components which are installed, which we have learned in the last lecture, are also lubricated. But the main disadvantage of this system is that if the engine is allowed to remain unused for a considerable time, the lubricating oil gets separated from the petrol, leads to clogging of passage in the carburetor and results into starting trouble, because carburetor is having a fine passage to have a more mileage. The carburetor is having a fine passage, so they block the fine passage of the carburetor. That is the main disadvantage, and nowadays this is also not in use. So this is about the petrol or a mist lubrication system. Now second lubrication system is splash lubrication system, in which, like a word, we splash the oil from the sump. This is now this system is in existence. This system is used in the present automobile system. In this system of lubrication, the lubricating oil is stored in sump. See in this figure, the lubricating oil is stored in the sump. A scoop or a dipper is fitted in the lowest part of the connecting rod. We know that this connecting rod is always reciprocating, and it rotating your crankshaft. So always this connecting rod has a scoop, like a spoon like shaped portion. So it takes the oil every time and splashes oil all over the engine. It splashes oil all over the engine. You can just see the figure side, in this side figure, that this scoop is splashing the oil from here and it is sprayed up to the cylinder, up to the bottom side of the cylinder and all over the engine. Again, when it cools and when it lubricates, it is again collected in the pan. Oil comes to this pan due to the gravity. It dips into the pan and here the oil is again collected. When the engine runs, the dipper dips into the oil once in every revolution of the crankshaft. At every revolution, this will dip into the oil and causes the oil to splash on the cylinder wall. This action affects the lubrication of the engine cylinder walls, piston pin wall, engine cylinder wall, inside the cylinder wall, piston pin, piston rings, crankshaft bearings and big end bearings. Whatever the components are there, all components are lubricated by this oil because oil is splashed all over the on the all components of the engine. This type of lubrication system is not suitable for high efficiency engine. This is the main disadvantage of this system. This type of, because this is not a guaranteed lubrication system. You because splash oil may or may not reach up to the component, so this is not used for the high efficiency engine. So what they done for the high efficiency engine? Then they use the pressure lubrication system or full pressure lubrication system. It is also called as full pressure lubrication system. Now you can observe this figure. In this figure there is a sump, oil sump. In this sump there is a pump. Here is a pump, here is a filter. Then from this pump it goes to again a filter. This is a suction filter, this is delivery filter. Then from this filter you can observe all are there are all pipelines. Through these pipelines the oil is taken at an exact point where the lubrication is necessary. Now see, these are called oil galleries. Here you can observe it is up to bearing of this bearing, then it is again going to this top side, this wall mechanism. Everywhere this is going, and again after cooling and lubricating it dips and it again comes down and it is collected in the oil pan. Again it is lifted uh, through this filter, oil pump, and again, but it is the due care is taken that at every point the oil should reach. So there are some drilled galleries are there, so oil is provided at the each and every point. Though these parts are moving, the oil is provided to these parts. And this you might have observed this in the video uh, of lubrication system, which you have observed in the last period. So this type of lubrication system is called pressurized lubrication system. It is also called as a forced lubrication because forcefully we are moving. This is a positive type of lubrication because guaranteed type of lubrication, guaranteed the oil will reach at the particular point in which the help the pipes and with the help of pipes and tool it is provided to all components. There are also there are two main systems of the pressure lubrication system. These are wet sump and dry sumps. We'll discuss these two systems in the next. Thank you for watching. Hope that you have enjoyed this lecture. Thank you.